When you move into a new house, you expect a safe, blank slate to start your life. But for one young, pregnant couple keeping expenses low, skipping the standard home inspection left their front door wide open to something else entirely. The wife spent her first few days home alone, unpacking boxes. Almost immediately, she started hearing strange, shuffling noises echoing up from the basement. Then, in the middle of the night, a human-like shadow detached itself from the darkness of their bedroom doorway and moved out of sight. Her husband initially wrote it off. They were in an older, unfamiliar property, and he reasoned that the strange sounds were simply the normal structural settling of a house they weren't used to yet. That rationalization fell apart the next morning. When they finally went down into the basement together to investigate a loud crash, they found several storage boxes violently knocked over. Trailing away from the mess was a fresh path of disturbed dirt on the floor, leading directly toward the furnace. This architectural blueprint of a standard basement layout shows exactly how deceptive an empty room can be. If you focus on the negative space behind the furnace, it reveals a small, entirely hidden crawl space that the couple never knew existed. Inside that cramped, secret void, the husband found a filthy throw pillow, a small fleece blanket, and scattered food wrappers. But the most horrifying discovery sitting in the dark was a stolen photo album filled with pictures of the couple dating. Skipping a home inspection is usually framed as a financial gamble on the plumbing or the foundation. In this case, it meant missing the physical proof of another person already living inside the walls. Intruders aren't always physical. A family purchased a massive, maze-like mansion in the middle of nowhere, thrilled that they managed to secure the sprawling property for a suspiciously cheap price. The new homeowner's young nephew came over to spend the weekend in the empty, cavernous house. During a large game of hide-and-seek, the boy buried himself deep inside an unused office closet, concealing his body completely between thick winter coats. As he waited in total silence, the office door slowly creaked open. Nobody walked into his line of sight, but the distinct sound of heavy footsteps began pacing the room, stopping directly outside his hiding spot. A soft, disembodied voice leaned in and whispered directly through the wood of the closet door, "I see you." Later that night, as the boy tried to sleep in a different room, the bedroom closet door slowly swung open entirely on its own. The darkness inside remained empty, but the loud, deliberate sound of heavy breathing filled the bedroom until morning. An empty property can easily lack a living intruder, while still harboring a highly active, terrifying presence, a phenomenon known as a residual haunt. It took a decade for the boy to finally learn why that massive home was so cheap. 10 years before his aunt purchased the property, a brutal, unsolved murder had taken place inside, leaving the home completely abandoned. The events of that weekend were not childhood nightmares or an overactive imagination. They were a direct, genuine interaction with the horrific energy left behind by that crime. Severe violence leaves a permanent stain on a physical location. It turns an ostensibly empty house into a trap, doomed to replay its darkest moments for whoever moves in next. The highest level of threat in a new home defies any explanation at all. A young buyer recently secured a house from the estate of an elderly man. The previous owner had spent his final days in a home following a sudden, entirely unexplained cognitive collapse. While doing initial renovations, the new homeowner stepped on a loose attic floorboard. As you can see in this recreation, prying up the wood revealed a hidden cache, a weathered notebook, heavy brass keys, and a cassette recorder. The audio tape started innocently, with the old man testing the microphone by stating his name and the date. Quickly, the recording spiraled out of control, devolving into frantic weeping, uncontrollable laughter, and unhinged rants. The source of his terror was highly specific. The tapes revealed his absolute dread of an evil woman who visited him every single night, repeatedly refusing to leave him alone. The notebook entries mirrored the man's descent. His final written plea, desperately begging to be spared from another visit, was timestamped at 3:39 a.m. on December 26th. The following afternoon, his family found him completely unresponsive as catatonic on his couch. These items captured the precise moment the previous owner's reality began to fracture, documenting his final days through his own observations. On the final tape, the old man sounded completely breathless and defeated. He apologized for his past sins and delivered a dire warning. The entity was searching for whatever those hidden keys locked away. He whispered directly into the microphone, "She's here now." Immediately after, the distinct, malicious cackle of a woman echoed through the tape, cutting off into dead air. Following his collapse on the couch, medical professionals aggressively searched for a physiological explanation. They never found a biological reason for his total cognitive destruction, leaving his family completely without answers. While hospital records show no biological cause for the man's condition, the recording provides the only specific sequence of events leading up to his collapse. Purchasing a home is an act of inheritance. You acquire the property along with everything tethered to it, the hidden physical intruders, the traumatic historical echoes, and whatever sinister forces the previous owners chose to lock away in the dark.